Sportinglife.com, providing unrivaled sporting opinion, debate, tips and analysis for over 160 years.
I'm delighted to be joined by Patrick Mullins ahead of a good weekend in Ireland and in England. And it's been a good week for entries, Patrick. We seem to have had entries for everything this week, from the Betfair Hurdle, the Cheltenham Festival and the DRF as well. So we're just going to pick out one or two interesting ones. And one of them, Sir Gerhard, because obviously we got news of that little setback he had in December where he missed Christmas. But he's entered in the Stayers Hurdle and he's entered in the novice chases at the DRF as well. So are we hopefully going to see him again soon?
Yep, and he's entered in the Chacun Pour Soi at DRF as well. So Willie has got all the bases covered, which wouldn't be like him. He's back on track. He's back in full work, and it's just Willie hasn't decided which way he's going to go. You know, it's not an ideal time of the season maybe to be going chasing. But you know, last year we were in a similar boat with Appreciated and we went for the Champion Hurdle. And obviously that didn't quite work out. But Willie hasn't decided which route he's going to take yet. But the horse is in much better form. And I would expect him to be out. He'll be out before Cheltenham anyway, hopefully. And if not before, he'll definitely be out at Cheltenham.
At least it's good news that he's ready. You know, he's getting towards being ready to run.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're very happy with him now. He missed a bit of time there before Christmas, but he's back on the gallop. He's back in full work. He looks well, and it's just a case of bad timing more than anything else. But put it this way: when he does run, he'll be ready to rock.
I noticed a couple of left field entries in the Stayers Hurdle, Patrick, with Monkfish and Chacun Pour Soi being in there.
Yeah. Willie, when there's lots and lots of entries, Willie just kind of keeps all the bases covered. But Chacun is also in the Irish Gold Cup at the DRF as well. And Willie has been toying with the entry of the idea of pushing him out in trip. But look, it's at the moment they are what they are. They're entries. Willie likes to keep the options open when these races close so early. It's easier to have them in. Easier to have them in than trying to put them in, you know. So it's expensive to supplement them. Yeah. So Willie's motto has always been, you have to be in anyway, and it's easier to come out than to get in.
The trip thing's interesting with Chacun, isn't it? Because he's always looked such a powerful 2-miler, but if he does stay, he could be a force in that sort of division.
Yeah. Look, he's not getting any younger. He's 11 now, and. But we've never really tried with pushing him out in trip because he was so good at 2 miles. But there's plenty of those real good horses are able to be versatile over different trips. I mean, you look at Caudo Star, or you look at even Gallop in the Champs, and 2 mile, 2.5 mile, 3 mile, would be a question mark. But I would have thought 2.5 miles would be no problem to anyway.
A much younger horse in the same Susanna Ritchie colours is Gaelic Warrior, and we were meant to see him at Clonmel the other day. That was obviously postponed until next week, but he's got a couple of entries next week. Will we be seeing him soon?
Yeah, the Clonmel meeting was rescheduled to next Tuesday, so he could go there. He's also entered, I think, in a novice hurdle in Fairyhouse next Friday. He's entered in the Grade 1s at DRF. He's entered the Betfair Hurdle. There's also another 2 mile handicap hurdle at DRF, similar to Betfair Hurdle. I think it's worth €150,000. So he's going to have lots of different options. To my line of thinking, 134 is a very nice mark to be going in with him. I'm not sure the English handicap has given him his mark yet for the Betfair.
Well, a quirk of the rules is that because the meeting was postponed till next week, he won't be reassessed, so he'll just have a penalty if he wins next week, apparently, for the Betfair Hurdle. Yeah.
I'm not sure whether he'll have reassessed him for his win in Tramore. I could be wrong there, but that is definitely a help if he was to go for the Betfair. It wouldn't really be a very Willie thing to do in my mind, although it would be a nice option. But again, he's got lots and lots of options, and I'm not sure what Willie is going to do, but we're hoping he's going to be lining up in a Grade 1 in Cheltenham. So what route Willie chooses to get there, my thinking is Willie's a creature of habit, and he'll do what he normally does, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it'd be an exciting horse if he did pop up in one of those valuable handicaps. On to this weekend's stuff, Patrick, and Mr. Incredible is coming over to Warwick for the Classic Chase. He said earlier in the week that he was doing a key piece of work in midweek. How did that go, and what's the feeling going into this competitive handicap chase?
Yeah, he went very well. I think he's in great form. Look, he's a horse that's obviously quite quirky. He had a couple of issues his last couple of runs, but he jumped off fine in the Paddy Power and then got brought down by one of our own horses at the fourth fence. But Brian Hayes rides him a lot here, and Brian was very happy with him on Tuesday and again yesterday. He only went out this morning. The boat was delayed an hour, but they got on eventually. Look, he's an unexposed 7-year-old. He's got some nice form. And the trip is a little bit of an unknown because his 2 wins are over 2.5 miles, but no reason to think that he wouldn't stay 3 mile 5. And yeah, 142, he's 2 pounds higher in England. But I think, we're not sending him over for the fresh air. Obviously, you'd have to be quite wary of JP's horse down the bottom. I think Charlie Longston's horse. He's got a lovely low weight. We have to give him over a stone. But it's technically his first run of the season, but he got up and galloped after him, Paddy Power. He ran 3 miles, jumped all the fences, so he got a good blow there. But we'd be delighted if he could finish the first 3 or 4 and go forward from it. But he is quirky, but he does have the potential to be unexposed.
With that quirkiness in mind, do you think Warwick, a left-handed turning track, they always seem to be on the turn, could just keep him interested? Possibly. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of jumping. I think he enjoys jumping. But he obviously in Tremor in his last run, it's fairly tight and turning and jumping, and he only went a mile there. So it depends what mood he's in, to be honest. Looking at the Fairyhouse card, you got a couple in the Danmore handicap chase, Mount Leinster and Van der Blues.
Yes, a massive prize, huge money. Surprising it maybe isn't a full field. I think Mount Leinster ran very well last time out, and I think he is entitled to improve a little bit from that. That was his first run of the season. Van der Blues obviously is hard fit, and they're both the type of horses that I suppose they've had plenty. They're not unexposed. They've shown plenty of their hand. But we'd be expecting the 2 of them to run well, but you'd just be worried that maybe something a bit more unexposed, lower down the weights, might be hard to beat. But I do think Mount Leinster might just be a little better than his last run, though.
And on the same card, Flamebearer in the beginner's chase, he drops in trips at 2 mile 1 furlongs. He's an interesting horse.
Yeah, look, we were very disappointed with him in Naas, but it was too bad to be true. I think we put the tongue tie back on him. We've dropped him in trip. I'm pretty sure we've taken the hood off him as well. So we've changed a few different things. And to be honest, I'd be very disappointed if he doesn't win and win well.
And finally, the horse you ride, Westport Cove in the bumper. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, real nice horse. His owner, Carl Hughes, is from Mayo, where Westport is, from Westport. Not the biggest in the world, but I got plenty of speed. By Mutta here, nice French pedigree. I think he works well. It's always, obviously there's one of No Meads with form. There's one of Gordon's with a bit of point form. And you're always aware that Halley's having a run and they'll be well bred. So, but I'd be expecting a big run out of him. And there's maybe slight concern on the ground, but look, I'm sure everyone's in the same boat. But I think he'll be running some of the nicer bumpers in the spring.
Download the Sporting Life app for the best racing coverage, including live racing blogs, fast results, stable tours, trainer and jockey interviews, expert opinion and tips.